It's the matchup we've all been waiting for. It's Duke and UNC tonight in the Dean Dome. For Andrew Beaton and Daniel Carp, I'm Danny Nolan. We're here to break down the matchup against the Tar Heels. Before we get up into all of the different plays, all the different matchups, let's talk about the rivalry itself, Dan. It's been awesome for hundreds and hundreds of games.
Absolutely, Danny. I mean, it's Duke and North Carolina. There's no rivalry better in college basketball, and a lot of people can argue that there's no rivalry better in all of sports in general. You're talking about two teams 8.5 miles down the road from each other with a century of history, hundreds of matchups, and so many incredible moments. I mean, you're talking about just about 2 years ago now to the day that Austin Rivers shocked the world, hitting a buzzer-beating three at the Dean Dome. Andrew, you were at that game. The place went totally silent. A few years ago, Tyler Hansborough's face happened to get in the way of Gerald Henderson's elbow. That sparked a little bit of controversy. You're talking about next year, the 20th anniversary of the Jeff Capel shot. So many moments between these two teams, and you got to be pretty confident that at some point in this year, more moments are going to get written, especially by a pretty talented freshman in Jabari Parker.
Yeah, it seems like between these two teams, you're guaranteed that something amazing is going to happen at some point. Last year, even though Duke routed the Tar Heels at the Dean Dome, we had a pretty epic game at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And so this year, we don't know when it will happen, but with two teams, this magnitude, this history, something special is going to happen at some point, and that makes it Wednesday all the more exciting.
And one of those players that has been really special for UNC all year, and let's face it, they've been really inconsistent as far as the wins and losses go. But Marcus Paige has really stood out as their best player, Andrew.
Yeah, and he's unique on this Tar Heel roster because he does a lot of things well that the Tar Heels actually really struggle with. He hits only 37% of his threes, but that really stands out on a team that hits only 32% of his threes. They really struggle from beyond the arc. He hits 90% of the free throws, which is great for everyone, but it's especially amazing on a team that has really struggled at the free throw line this year. And he's very versatile in the backcourt. He can run the point, but he can also play off the ball when Roy Williams subs in Nate Britt. So you have such a dynamic weapon in the backcourt, and it'll be interesting to see how Coach K tries to defend him between so many different guards starting this year. He's had 9 different starters, whether it's Matt Jones, Rasheed Suleiman, Andre Dawkins, Tyler Thornton, or Quinn Cook. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, Marcus Paige especially, I'm going to throw out a little Dick Vitale euphemism here, but this kid is a primetime player. He only gets better as the game goes on and plays his best basketball in the second half. He's someone, should this game be tight down the stretch, definitely look out for. He's going to look to carry North Carolina to a win.
And when you look at the front court for this team, is actually just really dynamic, a lot of size down there. And that's something that Duke has really struggled with this year, especially rebounding. And UNC is a very good rebounding team, top 10 in the country. So how is Duke going to have to battle UNC in the post in order to win this game?
I mean, it's going to be a body on a body all game long. And one of the keys is going to be with Duke subbing people out, staying fresh, and making sure that when they are on the floor, they're going 110% the entire time. One of the keys to this game could be the health of Marshall Plumlee. Plumlee missed Saturday's game against Boston College with some lingering injuries. He will be good to go for tonight's game. As for how effective he'll be, that remains to be seen. But he's the type of guy that against a really big North Carolina front line could be pretty important.
And you have James Michael McAdoo, who's their best scorer in the post, but you have a number of other guys who are great on the boards, like Kennedy Meeks, who's has a different body type than what Duke presents. Meeks is a big guy. He can throw his body around. And when you look at what Duke has, they have extremely long players. Jabari Parker, Emile Jefferson, Marshall Plumlee, they're long. They can grab rebounds. But it's a very physical UNC front court. And what they lack in three-point shooting ability, free throw shooting ability, they make up for with their physicality in the post, and this will be a unique test in that regard.
Yeah, and especially when you look at a guy like Jabari Parker, he's someone who in recent weeks has really tried to assert himself as a threat in the post. You look at a 29-point, 16-rebound performance against Boston College as an indication of that. But Wednesday night, this is going to be when he really needs to put his money where his mouth is to see if he can hang with the big boys in the post, because North Carolina's big front line is going to be coming at him all game, and that's going to be one of the keys to this matchup.
You talk about maybe your two best players never playing in a Duke UNC game between Parker and Rodney Hood. Now, guys, when you look at this matchup in Chapel Hill, you already said throw the past out the window here. Who wins this game, Duke, UNC?
I mean, North Carolina's going to come out emotional. I think they're going to come out hot. But at the same time, I think in the second half, Duke's talent is going to prevail. I have Duke winning this game 79-69.
Yeah, I think Duke wins by double-digit points. Duke can really do well against teams that struggle to shoot the ball. Teams that have beaten them, like Syracuse, have really had to excel from beyond the arc in order to beat Duke. And unless Duke has some uncharacteristically cold shooting night, which is difficult to happen on this team because even though they rely on the three a lot, they have so many different players who can shoot it so well. So even if one guy is cold, the whole team as a whole should be able to shoot well. I think they take it 81-68.
So it should be an interesting game. Usually is between Duke and UNC. Pretty historical rivalry. So for Andrew Beaton and Daniel Carp, I'm Danny Nolan. We'll see you guys later.